Good morning, everyone. Nice to see standing room only in this room. Great to have a big crowd here. Thank you for joining us for this very special event today. Today we are celebrating the groundbreaking of two premier facilities. Whitehall, the future home of our nationally recognized Department of Physics in the Eberly College of Arts and Sciences, and our new basketball practice facility, the future home of our nationally ranked men's and women's teams, who, by the way, have a record of almost 40-6 at this point in the season. Today's event is being shown via webcast, and I want to welcome all of those viewers. I want to especially recognize the math and science teachers and their students from across the state. I hope you enjoyed the animated feature on the physics of basketball that preceded this program. It helps us illustrate why we are here today, to recognize two outstanding programs that will benefit from these world-class facilities. These programs have built an incredible amount of momentum in the past few years, and we are dedicated to continuing that growth and excellence. We want WVU to be among the nation's leaders in both academics and athletics. We want our students to excel in the classroom, in our labs, and on and off the court, and these programs are helping to lead the way. I'd like to begin by thanking those who made this day possible. For the renovation of Whitehall, I want to recognize and thank the West Virginia Legislature, Governor Joe Manchin, Brian Nolan, Chancellor of the West Virginia Higher Education Policy Commission. The Governor and the Chancellor could not be here today, but they send their best. I want to thank these individuals for their support in making $23 million available for this project. I also want to thank our donors, many of whom are here today, for making it possible for WVU to construct the best, very best practice facility anywhere in the country. You told us you wanted to be a showcase of our university's two outstanding basketball programs, a place that sends a message that WVU can and is competing with the most elite programs in the country. Without your generosity, we could not have achieved this dream. We have more than 40 private donors to thank for making this basketball practice facility a reality. That's an amazing testament to the passion and generosity of the great WVU family. The names appeared on the video shown earlier, many of those names, but I'd like to take a moment to thank 4 of them right now. These are 4 in our $1 Million Club, the $1 Million donors. First, I want to thank the Hazy Ruby McQueen Charitable Trust and the Ruby Foundation, represented here today by George Farmer, Chair of the Board of Trustees, Steve Farmer, Trustee Member, Charles Dunbar, Trustee Member. Would you gentlemen please stand and be recognized? We appreciate your help in making this happen. As most of you know, the trust was established by Mrs. McQueen, who passed away in 2002 at the age of 93. Mrs. McQueen engaged in philanthropic endeavors that benefited the university and many local organizations for more than 20 years. The trust carries on her legacy, and we are forever grateful to her and the trustees who are the stewards of her commitment to our community. Next, I'd like to recognize Ben and Joe Statler. Ben is a native of Mon County. He is a third-generation coal miner who worked the night shift at Purse Glove Mine while attending WVU, where he earned a degree in mining engineering. Today, Ben is a retired coal executive who has his own consulting company. Joe, as many of you know, is a generous contributor to Bonnie's Bus, named after her late mother. Bonnie's Bus is a mobile mammography unit that travels the state, offering breast cancer screenings to women who lack health insurance. Ben and Joe, would you please stand and be recognized? Next, I'd like to recognize Steve and Jamie Antelone. The Antelones are from Nicholas County. Steve started his own business called Superior High Wall Miners Incorporated. Over the years, the company, headquartered in Beckley, grew to become one of the nation's most successful suppliers of high wall mining equipment for the coal industry. In 2007, Steve sold Superior High Wall Miners to Terex Corporation, a worldwide leader in the manufacture of equipment for many industries, including mining. Steve and Jamie, would you please stand and be recognized? By the way, I want to point out that Steve's son will be a freshman here this fall, just as my son will be a freshman here this fall. Steve, we look forward to welcoming a new Mountaineer into the family. Next, I'd like to thank Dean and Charlene Hartley. Dean is one of the founding partners of the Wheeling law firm Hartley and O'Brien. Dean is a 1981 graduate of the WVU College of Law. He is a trial attorney with many years of experience successfully representing his clients. Dean, would you please stand and accept our thanks? We would also like to say thank you to MEC Construction, David Alvarez, Manny Alvarez, Scott Kiger, and Charlie Riggs for doing the actual groundbreaking, the excavating, utility relocation, and site preparation for the basketball practice facility. This project started with their generous in-kind work. Thank you, David, Manny, Charlie, and Scott. Would you please stand and be recognized? Finally, I would like to ask all of the very generous donors who are with us today, please stand and accept our thanks. This would not be possible with all of you. Would you please stand? It does take a big team to pull off projects like the ones we are pulling off. Next, I want to recognize our WVU Board of Governors. The board provides overall stewardship to the university and must approve capital projects such as the two we celebrate today. Carolyn Long is the chair of our board. She is an excellent leader, trust me, top-notch, and works tirelessly as a volunteer for her alma mater. Carolyn, will you please come to the podium and say a few words on behalf of the board?
Thank you, President Clemens. And I would like to ask that the board stand and be recognized because they also are tireless in working for this university and their alma mater. Would you all please stand, all the members of the Board of Governors? Thank you. You know, as a former teacher and a former superintendent, there's nothing any better than world-class facilities, not just for learning, but also for athletics. But also with those facilities comes the people that make these facilities work, and that is our outstanding coaches and our professors and our teachers that make this all so worthwhile. We can't thank those people enough because they will make this building how important it is. The structure of the building is important and the donors are important, but the people that will make it work are those people that get in there and do the hard labor. And we thank you for that. We thank you on behalf of the students that you will see that their dreams will come true, whether it be in physics, whether it be in chemistry, or whether it be in basketball or one of our facilities. So I want to thank you all very much. So on behalf of the board, we thank the donors, we thank the professors, we thank this university for again giving us another notch up in being the wonderful place we are for academics and for athletics. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. I also want to thank the architects who designed the state-of-the-art buildings. IKM Incorporated, a firm out of Pittsburgh, designed the stunning interior renovation of Whitehall. Ellerby Beckett, out of Kansas City, designed our amazing basketball practice facility. Macero Corporation, out of Pittsburgh, who is a contractor for the basketball facility. Will the representatives from these firms please stand and be recognized? Like the basketball facility, we want the home of the physics department to be one that enables the success of our students, our faculty, and our staff who study, teach, and perform research. We want it to be among the best learning environments you will find anywhere in this country, and we will do just that. In the $33 million renovation project, Whitehall will be outfitted with 2 175-seat high-tech classrooms, new computer labs, a new rooftop planetarium, sophisticated research space, and teaching labs. Demolition work is already complete, and we will open the renovated building in the fall of 2011. The basketball practice facility will feature 2 separate gym areas for the men and women's teams, locker rooms, a weight training center, meeting space for each program, an athletic training room, study space for our student athletes, and a basketball hall of traditions. It is expected to open May 2011. I'd like to thank our Vice President for Admin and Finance, Narvel Weiss, and the facilities planning staff for their hard work on both of these projects. I would also like to thank Russ Sharp, Senior Associate Athletic Director for Finance and Administration, for his efforts on a day-to-day basis for the basketball practice facility. Many of you have noticed we have some stars with us today. These are some of the people who make our physics department and our basketball program among the very best in the country, and they are among the very best in the country. From our academic ranks, please welcome Dr. Michelle Wheatley, WVU's Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Michelle, can you please stand for a minute? Do the wave. And trust me, she is a star. From our nationally renowned physics department, Dr. Earl Seamy, chairman of the department, along with many of his award-winning colleagues and students. Dr. Seamy, would you and your faculty members, staff, and students please stand? Trust me, they are top-notch. From our nationally ranked men's and women's basketball teams, please recognize head coaches Bob Huggins and head coach Mike Carey. Gentlemen, would you please stand? And a few of their players who I'm told didn't have class today. Joe Mazzulla, is he with us? By the way, graduated in 3.5 years and is a brilliant young man. Cam Thurman. Johnny West. And Liz Rapella. And let me just take a minute, Coach Huggins, to point out and thank you for what you did last night. Stopping the game I thought was very appropriate. Your comments to the fans about appropriate behavior and inappropriate behavior was much appreciated. So I thank you for doing that, Coach. I'd like to also point out and thank Dr. Rudy Almasi, Dean of the Eberly College of Arts and Sciences. Rudy? The physics department is housed within that college, and Ed Passalong, Director of Athletics. Ed? Now, this is a special occasion when you open a premier athletic facility and a premier academic facility, and I'm sure many of you asked a question when you received your invitation. What in the world do basketball and physics have to do with each other? There's an answer. And to answer that, I asked Provost Wheatley to please come up. Thank you.
Thank you, President Clements. It's an interesting question. What do physics and basketball have in common? And actually, they have a lot in common. The rate of change in higher education is exponential. There are new discoveries and innovations being worked on and achieved every day. In that competitive environment, our physics and basketball programs not only keep pace, they set the pace. They have achieved national recognition for themselves and, more importantly, for this great university. Let's take physics. Our physics department consistently shatters expectations in education and in research. The department has produced 12 Goldwater Scholars, 3 Cottrell Scholars, and 2 Alfred P. Sloan Research Fellows. Our professors have been published in the preeminent journals in their field, including Science, the Astrophysical Journal, Physical Review Letters, and the Journal of Applied Physics, among others. In just the past 7 years, the number of undergraduates has doubled, and graduate enrollment is up 30%. These are incredible feats for a department of its size. Our undergraduate students conduct research alongside our professors. Last year, that research earned $3 million in federal funding in just 6 months. The department has also produced some amazing discoveries. Our professors were recently recognized by the American Astronomical Society for detecting new millisecond pulsars. Those same professors worked with an outstanding high school student named Shay Bloxton to literally discover a new pulsar. Shay was featured on physicstoday.com and is here with us today. And Shay, would you please stand? I had no idea from my script that Shay was in fact a woman. It's wonderful. That isn't the first success story involving a high school student. Last March, Lucas Bolyard worked with the physics department to discover a rotating radio transient. Thanks in large part to community outreach programs like these, our undergraduate students are some of the brightest the country has to offer, and our graduate students come to us from some of the most prominent undergraduate programs in the country. Our students have earned some of the country's top physics awards. Last year, Andrew Higgins was named a Goldwater Scholar reserved for some of the brightest young scientists in the country. Is Andrew here? Not here. Mary Underwood was also a Goldwater Honorable Mention recipient. Mary. And Tabitha Smith earned the Boren Award, a scholarship which supports study abroad in areas of the world that are critical to U.S. national security interests. Is Tabitha here? Not here. When our outstanding students leave our program, they all have jobs in the field. The department has achieved 100% job placement. Let me repeat that because that's quite remarkable. The department has achieved 100% job placement for physics graduates. And to tell you more about our achievements on the basketball court, I'll ask Athletic Director Ed Pastelong to join me.
Thank you, Michelle. It is certainly unique and good to have an athletic director standing beside the provost. My compliments to the people who selected this particular date to have this dedication, that following a Pitt victory. Our basketball teams have also made remarkable strides in their pursuit of excellence. Both teams are currently ranked in the top 10 nationally. Coach Carey has had our women to 3 consecutive postseason appearances, including trips to the NCAA tournament and the team's first ever Big East championship game. Coach Huggins, an honor graduate of WVU, and there are many people in this room who enjoyed watching Bobby as a player, and that enthusiasm and determination and focus was displayed as a player that you see when he coaches our teams today. Bobby has led our team to back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances, including a run to the Sweet 16. Like our players, our student athletes have earned national awards. In the last 2 years, the women's team has had the Big East Sportsmanship Award winner and the Big East Sport Excellence Award winners. Liz Rapella recently won the Big East Scholar Athlete Excellence Award for her achievements on the court, in the community, and in the classroom, where she has a 3.94 GPA. Liz, it's a pleasure having you as a member of our Student Athletic Association. The women also got their 20th victory last Saturday. In the first time in the last 7 years, the women have notched a 20-game winning season. They are on the pace to set the school record in single-season wins with another NCAA tournament appearance looming. The 18-1 start of the year was the best 19-game start in school history. Under Coach Carey, the women have defeated 11 ranked teams, most recently defeating number 4 Rutgers in 08 and number 5 Louisville in 09. The men's team has had an academic All-American in 4 of the last 5 years. The men's team has had the Big East Scholar Athlete of the Year in the last 3 or 4 years, 2 straight Big East Sportsmanship and Big East Sport Excellent Awards winners. Joe Mazzulla, who is also with us today, completed his undergraduate degree in multidisciplinary studies with 3 minors in 3.5 years. And Joe, like Liz, it's a pleasure having you within our department. Joe is also a regular on the Athletic Director's Academic Honor Roll and Big East Academic All-Star Team. Also in the Big East, the men's team is also just one of 3 Big East schools to have a winning record in league play in each of the past 4 years. President Clements, I'd say physics and basketball have a lot to be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Michelle. You've both touched on many of the reasons why we're here today, and a few of the things that make these programs so unique and so very important to our great university. To provide some additional insight, please help me welcome Mike Carey, head coach for the women's basketball team. And Coach, let me say, so proud of what you and our girls are doing this year.
I just wanted to clear up a few things before I got started on this. They told us our names were in our chairs to please sit down, and I couldn't find my chair because it had Bruce Carey on my name thing. Now, I don't know, President, if this is a hint. My brother retired this year from coaching. I don't know if you're trying to give me a hint right there. Okay. The other thing, my office, my staff told me we were supposed to wear khakis and just a West Virginia shirt. And when I came, this is the first time I've seen Coach Huggins in a suit and tie. So I was very surprised to see that also. But I would like to thank you, President Clements. I've never taught physics, but I can tell you that each time a player steps up to the foul line, it's a test, especially some of our players that we have. Whether or not she succeeds is a matter of her raw talent, her determination, her concentration, and as many players know all too well, her dedication to practice.
And I've never coached how to make a free throw, but as an academic, I consider it a matter of physics. You see, physics explains how matter moves through time and space, how a basketball moves through the air and towards its target. So when the player steps up to that foul line and shoots, it's more than just luck or talent or practice that determines the outcome. It's the ability of the player to release the ball at a precise angle to the rim and get it there before gravity pulls it back down to earth. It's the capacity to create that perfect arc.
I have to be honest with you, I knew that before we come in there. No, I didn't. I've lost my place. Okay. Ask any one of my players if she considers the theories of quantum mechanics before she steps onto the court, and I can guarantee the answer is no. But ask her to explain what it feels like to play a mistake-free game. Ask her what it feels like to be on. It's like the universe has aligned just right.
And according to physics, it has.
Okay. Today, our basketball programs at West Virginia University are truly moving in the right direction. Inside the Coliseum, the university is aligning just right. We have developed star student athletes who have the ability to bring a Big East championship and soon an NCAA championship to WVU. Some of these athletes are talented enough to play professionally in the NBA and WNBA. Coach Huggins and I are working hard to recruit top talent who will continue that momentum.
The physics program has also cultivated its own group of stars who have the ability to make significant discoveries and innovations. Already, our astrophysics professors have used radio searches to discover new millisecond pulsars, a finding that may soon yield further understanding of gravitational waves and stellar evolution. Our undergraduate students get into the major leagues of graduate programs: Cambridge, MIT, Princeton, and UC Berkeley. And our own graduate program attracts students from the nation's top undergraduate schools, including Johns Hopkins, Purdue, and Georgia Tech.
Even with all that our physics and basketball programs have accomplished, we still and will accomplish more. We've recruited the raw talent, and they are full of determination. They are willing to put in the time and energy it takes, be not among the best in the country, but the best in the country.
We have the momentum to cross the line that separates what is adequate from what is excellent. We have the ability to push these two programs along precise paths towards their goals.
Thank you.
Thank you both for those comments. These facilities will help us do just what you said, Provost. They are more than bricks and mortar. They are the foundation for our future success. They truly represent a brighter future for our students in both programs. When they open in 2011, each will begin a new era. Now please join me in welcoming Dr. Earl Seamy, Chair of the Physics Department, and Coach Bobby Huggins, men's basketball. And what are the chances he'll stick to script?
Thank you, President Clements. Last time we shared a podium together, I believe, was in Charleston at the Capitol Classic, and we were talking about instilling the pride of West Virginia in our players, and I think we've done that. I tell you, these guys, Governor came in and gave a talk to our guys 2 games ago, and I think what all of our guys took away, he said a lot of good things, but I think the one thing they took away was when you come here and you're a student here and you're an athlete here, you're a West Virginian for life. And I know how much our guys appreciated that. You know, we're trying to be the best. We're not trying to be among the best. We're trying to be the best, and that doesn't happen if you don't get television exposure. And we've been, I think, very fortunate this year to get tremendous television exposure. Because if people don't know who you are and they don't know what you're about, you know, if I pick up the phone and I call somebody and they start asking me about style of play, we're not going to get the guy. Because they want to know how we play. And I think television does that for us. Television does that. The NCAA tournament repeatedly does that for you. And everybody talks about let's go to the NCAA tournament. No, let's talk about advancing in the NCAA tournament. The NCAA tournament being a given. Fortunately, as you heard from President Clements, Provost Wheatley, and Bruce Carey, I couldn't help but think, Mike, you've made a tremendous impression on these people in your time here. WVU has a great reputation in basketball and physics.
Reputation may convince people to come to our campus, but when they get here, the recruits are just as interested in what we have and what they see when they get here. They want to know that the program they're joining has the financial support of the university and the physical space to grow in numbers and in reputation.
You're right. We're all competing for the best in the country. I was honored to be able to speak to the incoming freshmen, and President Clements said, I believe there was five people who had a perfect SAT score, and two of those students chose West Virginia. I mean, if that doesn't say what a tremendous job our academic people are doing, I don't know what does. And you know, on the other side, we compete for the same kind of people. If we don't sign the best shooting guard in the country, then Kansas is going to, or Pitt's going to, or Connecticut's going to, and then we have to try to guard them. And I'd just assume they were on our team.
Many of the top universities in this country built their physics facilities after World War II, when the race to capitalize on the dramatic advances in physics knowledge had overwhelming support of the federal government. But in the past 60 years, science research has evolved, particularly physics. We're now measuring things that were thought to be immeasurable, and we're discovering things that the last generation thought was impossible. Our physics department, which I'm very proud of, is made up of some of the top teachers and researchers in the country. We're leading the way in learning how to control electron spin in nanoscale structures, in combining electronic and biological functionality in materials, in testing the predictions of general relativity with some of the most exotic stellar systems known, in controlling the flow of fluids through tiny tubes, and in creating real plasmas in our laboratories and mathematical models of plasmas in our computers that help us to understand outer space. We're also producing some of the nation's best scientists. Recent PhD students from our department are publishing papers in the top journals, Nature and Science, are leading experiments on the $10 billion National Ignition Facility in California, and are becoming faculty at universities around the nation. Our undergrads, like Mehran Marhibi, who's here today, where is he? Can he stand? He'll be our second student in the past few years to head to Cambridge University to study physics at the graduate level this fall. Other undergraduate alumni from our department have had their research, for instance, on the discovering atmospheres of extrasolar planets. It's planets that are not around our star, but around other stars. Their work is being featured on the front page of the New York Times, and those are our graduates, and we're very proud of them. But all of this means we're reaching the limits of our infrastructure for both physics and for basketball.
Our basketball programs are experiencing the same thing. The Coliseum is, I think, the most wonderful building that was ever built in 1970 and has housed the College of Physical Education, I think, since the inception. And I think people think it's men's and women's basketball in the Coliseum, but we also have other athletic teams there. We also have classes there. And academics shouldn't really have to compete with athletics for time in the building. And that's why the space that you people graciously supported is so good for our teams. When Mike and I bring recruits in and can take them into what is going to be the best practice facility in America, that was the charge that was given to the designers that when people say we're thinking about building a practice facility, everybody's going to say go look at West Virginia's because they have the best. And when we bring recruits in there, if we can get them here, we can get them. And it doesn't matter who it is. We can get them here because of the tremendous facilities that we're going to have, and I think more importantly than that, the tremendous people that we have here.
These state-of-the-art facilities will tell our future players, our professors, our students that WVU is willing to invest in them and to provide them with the resources they need to build a successful career and future. Our physics professors have had a strong hand in designing the renovation of White Hall, which will be a LEED certified or environmentally green building. We've asked for roll-up doors at the end of every hallway so we can bring big equipment in without tearing apart the walls. We've asked for every room to be plumbed with additional capture systems so we can control and capture helium from our ultra-cold experiments and restore it and perhaps reuse it so it's economically advantageous for those experiments. We've asked for whiteboards up and down the hallways so as we have ideas and we meet each other in the hall, we can quickly write them down and talk to each other and collaborate. We've asked for a 60-seat planetarium for the top of White Hall so we can bring our community in, our neighbors, our school children, and get them excited about physics and science. White Hall will not only be a great place to do science, but a great place for collaborations for all of our research groups.
I had a sociology class there, by the way, in White Hall. Long time ago.
Okay.
Did rather well, as I recall. University is going to benefit from these facilities for years to come. First, it'll benefit financially. top programs generate big money. Great basketball teams sell more tickets. Great scientists make more discoveries and create more patents.
It will also benefit in reputation and prominence. The more NCAA tournaments the basketball teams make, the more articles our professors publish, the more talent we will attract. And as Coach Huggins said just a few minutes ago, top programs are built on reputation. These facilities bring us full circle.
This isn't on the script, but I have to say this. As a student here, one of the old football guys love me because I kind of played basketball with kind of that mentality. When you don't run and jump as well as everybody else, you have to kind of do that. And he came over and put his arm around me, and I'll never forget. He said, I want you to always remember this. The greatest resource in the state of West Virginia is not coal. You know, I think around the United States, people would say the greatest resource in the state of West Virginia is coal. It's not. The greatest resource is its people. And I've never forgot that. And I'm telling you, coming back home, nothing rings truer than those words.
Coach, we are glad you are back home.
I'm elated. I wake up every day excited.
Couple more things. Again, I'll go off the script as Coach did. Great organizations are built on great people. We have great people here. You had a chance to see several of them today. These are the best of the best. From our new provost to the chair of the physics department to our basketball coaches, they are as good as we get. And there are many of you in this room I could say the same thing about. I also do want to point out that Coach was an academic All-American when he was here playing basketball for us. So I'll go back to the original question that you might have asked yourself when you received the invitation for this event. What in the world do physics and basketball have to do with each other? What they share is the ability to propel WVU to greater levels of national prominence, and they will do just that. They've already done it. We're proud of what they have done, and we're proud to make these investments in their future. It's now time to go to Marvin, the Physics Department Outreach Program robot, who agreed to help us break the ground and cut the ribbon on these two premier facilities. Dr. Simi, would you please do the honors?
Be glad to. So Marvin is a outreach program activity that we do with high school students here in Morgantown. The kids all ask for excuses from school to come here and see this activity, but I made them go to school. Even the Star Center of University's High's basketball team, girls team, oh, actually I should be talking to you, girls team is on a robotics program, but she also plays basketball. As you'll see, I think we're going to go to video. Marvin's no Terminator, but he does run some pretty sophisticated software, and maybe next year they'll program him to shoot some basketball. I think we have video.
How's he rebound?
Not very well.
Well, thank you, Marvin. We have now officially opened a new era for physics and basketball. As we celebrate these two programs, we're reminded really of how wonderful this university is, and it is. We have everything. We have big-time academics, big-time research, and big-time athletics. I know that Coach Huggins, Coach Carey, Provost Wheatley, and Professor Simi and all of their students and colleagues will use this momentum that has been created today to reach new heights and to push their programs to be the absolute best in the nation. We all want to thank you for being here today. Please stay and join us for a reception that follows. Thank you once again, and let's go Mountaineers.